Welcome back, everybody. So on the last video you see me plant the strip food plot and the little hidey hole plot in the middle of the two fields up there, and I did that the traditional way. You know, I sprayed those with glyphosate, then I even came in and brush hogged it last week just to get that weed mass, the dead weed mass, out of there. Then I rototilled it, rolled it, seeded it, rolled it. So that's how I planted those ones. So what we're doing here is filling my tank up with water and glyphosate, and we're gonna go over and we're gonna actually plant my standing buckwheat. We're gonna do what I refer to as the Jeff Sturgis method. I've never actually done it this way before. This is kind of an experiment for me to see how it does. I've always done them, you know, kind of the traditional way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spread the brassica right into the standing buckwheat, and then we're gonna take and spray the whole plot with glyphosate, and then we're gonna come and attach my roller, and we're gonna crimp all the buckwheat right on top of the brassica. So it's a no-till application, which I'm kind of excited to see how it's gonna work. This is the first time, like I said, I've ever done it. So it's kind of just a trial run to see how it does and see if it's something that actually works good for me. I know it works good for people that I watched on YouTube, so we'll see. It's all right here. So this is all buckwheat right up along the corn right here. You're calling for a storm later tonight, but I think I've got time. It's not supposed to start raining until 9:30 tonight, so really don't need too much in here. So here's all the buckwheat. This is where I had standing corn last year. You can see the corn stubble in here, and I actually just broadcasted this buckwheat onto it after I disked it a few times this spring, and it came up pretty good. So there are some weeds in it, as you can see right there. But we're gonna hit it with glyphosate after we broadcast the brassica in here, and we're gonna go get our roller and knock it all down, and we'll see how it does. The deer have been browsing hard on this buckwheat. You can see a lot of this stuff has been nipped off, but now it's flowering out and they're really not eating it nearly as hard. Although look in here, look at, I mean, all these things are nipped. So as you can see, I'm planting New Zealand maximum blend brassicas in this food plot right here, and you want to make sure you get a good seed rate on this. So when I use my Earthway seeder right here that Burn Man got me, I set it on 1.5, and I just do a steady walk, and that's right at the rate that I need. So I'll put in a little more than I'll normally use in here, and then you know, if I get through it, I'll dump it back into the bag and have it for the next plot. So we got it all seeded down here, and I learned a few valuable lessons on my first go around at this method. Valuable lesson number one: you wear pants, not shorts. Valuable lesson number two: it is not just buckwheat that's growing in here. There's lots of weeds that happen to have spikes and very sharp edges that I learned. And one thing that was a little unsettling is I found probably 4 different woodchuck holes just as I was seeding through here. That buckwheat in the middle is actually like up to my chest line, and there's huge woodchuck holes right in the middle that we're gonna have to take care of. Obviously, when we hit this with glyphosate and knock it all down, those things are gonna be very vulnerable because I can see them from the house. So that means they're pretty much toast. The buckwheat's actually seeding out. So look at all these little seeds. And we got, see, my legs are all cut up from walking through those weeds. Not a very smart idea to not wear pants while doing this. Got all kinds of little seeds in my socks here and everywhere. Well, we've got a good assortment of seeds in my shoe there. We got buckwheat and wheat seeds, you name it, we got it. Yeah, the problem is I would obviously wore pants, but it's like 90 degrees and extremely humid out here, and I was like, ah, screw it, I'll just wear shorts so I won't sweat as bad. I didn't really anticipate all the weeds in here and the sharp pricker type weeds. There's some grass at the bottom, swamp grass, that has extremely sharp edges that got me pretty good. But now we're gonna hit it with glyphosate, and then we're gonna get the roller and roll it all in. Got my roller here, and now we're gonna go ahead and go over all the buckwheat and crimp it down. Well, 9:30 rain prediction was a bad one. I don't even understand how this could have happened. I was just looking at the radar and there was nothing. There was no green, nothing. And it's pouring. Hopefully them plants soaked in that glyphosate before the rain came, but oh, who knows. Kaylee and the dog are sitting there looking at me thinking, I bet he's getting wet. Oh, we got a nice rainbow. Well, as you guys can see, we got the buckwheat crimped down pretty much flat now. There's still some weeds and stuff in here that are sticking up a little bit, but I'm really crossing my fingers that that glyphosate was able to do the trick before that rain came. I wasn't anticipating the rain like that, but we'll see. Hopefully it works out. Everything should be starting to die out here in about 4 or 5 days, so we'll know if the glyphosate did the trick or not, if some of these weeds start turning brown. We've got some woodchucks to kill. We've got a big hole right there by that rock. But it's been a week now. Actually 6 days since I planted. Let's go ahead and see if we can find any growth underneath this stuff here. That's not good. So we have, right here we have Brassica. Those are 2 Brassica seeds coming up. But what I'm really nervous about is this. That's buckwheat. That's coming back up. So, and there's a buckwheat. I mean, there's tons of, all this is full of buckwheat seeds. See, these are all buckwheat seeds. Which is bad because that's all gonna come back up, and that's not that wasn't the purpose. So what that tells me is I didn't terminate. I planted the buckwheat too early and I let it mature to seed before I killed it and terminated it. So we'll see what happens, but just looking at it right now, I think this is going to possibly be a failure. I think the buckwheat's going to grow and shade out my brassicas that are coming up. Let's walk down a little bit and see if there's buckwheat that's coming back up over here. Let's see what we got. Okay, let's pick a random spot. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any brassica coming up here, but I do see a lot of buckwheat seeds in there. Okay, there's a brassica. Right there's one. Right there. That's a brassica growing. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. This is my first try at it, and I think I should have terminated that buckwheat before it seeded out like that. That's how you learn. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. We'll have more shortly. Thanks for watching, everybody.